Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Aulia. My name is 2301X037. I'm from group 5. So today I will explain about narrative text and recount text. So let's start. First, I will explain about definition of narrative text and recount text. First, narrative text. Narrative text is the text that tells about sequence or events in the past. The purpose of narrative text are to entertain, to express the feelings, to inform, and to persuade readers. Second definition of recount text. Recount text is a text which has a function to tell people about a story, action, or activity. This text is also a text which results an event or experience in the past. The purpose of this text to entertain or informing the reader about an event. Next, I will explain about structure of narrative text and recount text. First, structure of narrative text. 1. Orientation. This is the introduction of the text. 2. Complication. Introduce the main problem or challenge faced by a character. 3. Climax. The turning point of the story where conflict reaches in its peak. 4. Resolution. The things of the conflict in address or solved. 5. Conclusion or coda. Wraps up the story by tying of loose end. Second, structure of recount text. First, orientation. This is the introduction of the text. It sets the scene about providing background information. 2. Events. This is the main body of the recount where the events are described in the order they occur. This is the introduction of the text. 3. Reorientation. It provides a conclusion or a personal comment on the events. 4. The purpose of recount text is the inform or entertain by retelling events in the chronological order. Next, I will explain about grammatical feature of narrative text and recount text. First, grammatical feature of narrative text. First, using past tenses. Narrative texts often contain past tense because they typically recount events or stories that have already occurred. 2. Using adverbial of time. Narrative texts often use adverbial of time to provide a clear structure or sense of progression of the story. 3. Using adjective. In narrative text, adjectives help create a more detailed and vivid story. 4. Using noun phrase. Noun phrases help create detailed and vivid description in stories. In narrative text, noun phrase can be used to give more detailed description, highlight certain parts of a character or setting, or explain complicated ideas concisely. Second, grammatical feature of recount text. 1. Tenses. Recount texts are predominantly written in the past tense, as they describe events that have already happened. 2. Action verbs. Recount texts often use action verb to describe the event that occur. 3. Conjunction. Conjunctions are used to connect events in a chronological sequence and to maintain coherence. 4. Personal pronouns. Recount texts often include personal references such as I, my, or his, her, etc., as they are required for the social function of sharing personal experience. 5. Simple past tense. This tense is used to convey information about past events. 6. Past continuous tense. This tense is used to describe ongoing action in the past. 7. Past perfect tense. This tense is used to describe events that were complete before other events in the past. 8. Past perfect continuous tense. This tense is used to describe actions that were ongoing before another events in the past. 9. Temporal sequence. Recount text use the word like on, at, and in to indicate the time when events occur. 10. Focus on specific participant. Recount text often focus on the experience of the writer using the first-person perspective. 11. Use the adverb and adverbial phrase. These are used to modify verb and provide additional information about the events described. Next, I will explain about social function of narrative text and recount text. First, social function of narrative text. 1. Entertainment. Stories captivate audience providing enjoyment, escapism, and emotional engagement. 2. Education. Narrative transmit cultural values, beliefs, and knowledge from one generation to another. 3. Cultural preservation. Narrative texts help preserve cultural heritage by recording tradition, folklore, myths, and legends. 3. Identify formation. Stories shape individual and collective identities by providing models of behavior, role models, and cultural archetypes. 5. Social critique. Narrative texts often critique social issues, norms, and power structure. Authors use storytelling to raise awareness about injustice, challenge stereotypes, and advocate for social change. 6. Bonding and communication. Stories facilitate social bonding and communication by providing shared experience and cultural reference. 7. Escapism and catharsis. In times of stress or hardship, narrative offer an escape from reality and means of emotional release. 8. Inspiration and motivation. Narrative texts inspire and motivate individuals by portraying triumph over adversity, personal growth, and pursuit of dreams. They offer hope, encouragement, and guidance for navigating life's challenges. Next, I will explain about social function of recount text. Social function of recount text to resolve past events or experience in chronological order. It serves to inform or entertain readers by providing a detailed account of what happened. So what is different narrative and recount text? First, narrative text is narrate a story that is not real or fiction. Recount text tells an event based on the fact, non-fiction. 2. The purpose of narrative text is mainly to entertain the reader. Recount text, the purpose of recount text is to inform, entertain the reader. 3. The structure of narrative contains orientation, complication, and resolution. The structure of recount contains the orientation, series on event, and reorientation. 4. Narrative text has complication and resolution with the moral value, but recount text doesn't have any complication and resolution. Alright, I have explained the difference between narrative text and recount text. Now I will provide example of narrative and recount text. However, in explaining this example, I will use Zoom so I can explain them properly. So, for the first example is a narrative text. I'm using the short story. The title is The Legend of Surabaya. As the example for narrative text, here you can see that I have colored the text with different colors. Why? Let me explain. Earlier, I explained the structure of narrative text. So, the color in the text indicate the structure of the text. The yellow color represents orientation. Here, we can find out who the characters and where they live. Based in the story, the characters are Sura and Baya, and they live in the sea. The green color, you can see it. The green color represents the complication in the story or the problem in the story. Based on the story, the complication in the story is that Sura and Baya fight over food and argue until they feel tired. As a result, they separated to avoid fighting again. The blue color, you can see it, represent the climax or the problem that reaches its peak in the story. Based on the story here, the climax is when Sura breaks the agreement with Baya. He goes to the river to find food because there is no food in the sea. Because of this, Sura and Baya start fighting again and fight each other. Now, the purple color represents the resolution or the solution to the problem. In the story, the resolution is the Baya bites Sura until Sura surrenders and returns to the sea. Because of this, Baya becomes happy. We have understood the structure of the story. Now, there are 4 questions here. Let's solve them. 1. Who is the character in the story? The answer is Sura and Baya. Where can we find out who the character are in the story? We can see it in the introduction or orientation. In this story, in this story, the characters are known as Sura and Baya. I will highlight it. Uh, this is a, they are the character of the story. Now, two, where did they live before there was a crop? The answer is they live in the sea. For the second question, the answer is in the same place as number one, which is the orientation. In this story, is known that they live in the sea. They live in the sea. Next, three. Why did they spread? The answer is because they won't fight again. For this question, we need to find where the answer is located in the story. If we look at the story, the answer is found in the complication part. This, after several hours, they were very tired, feeling tired of fighting. They lived in different planes, Sura lived in the water, and Baya lived in the land. The murder was the bit, so they would never fight again. Next, 4. Who win in the fight? The answer is Baya. For the question number 4, typically, if this question is this from, is usually looked at in the resolution part in the call in the proposal. We can see in the story, he he bit very hard until Sura finally gave up and went back to the sea. Baya was happy. Next example is recount text. The purpose of this color is the same as in narrative text, which is to show structure. The yellow color, the yellow color, you can see the yellow color represent orientation. Here, in explain the character I, this one, you can I, you can see it in the story, was going to Yogyakarta to continue his education. Now, next, the green color represent events. Here, it explains the character goes to the Yogyakarta by the trains. It narrates how the character traveled by train, starting from the check-in activity during the journey and how long the journey takes. The blue color is reorientation. In this story, the orientation is repeated, stating that he will stay in Yogyakarta and he was very excited to start his life. I will erase it. Next question of recount text. First, why did the character move to Yogyakarta? The answer is because he wanted to continue his education to Yogyakarta. For this answer, we can see it in the orientation part. As you can see it. is look at it here. Mm, this one. I wanted to continue my education in Yogyakarta. So is it conclude because he wanted to continue his education to Yogyakarta? Two, what vehicle did he use to go to Yogyakarta? The answer is he went to Yogyakarta by train. For, for answer number one, two, we can see it in the events part here. I went to Yogyakarta by trains. Next, how long did it take to travel to Yogyakarta? The answer is 5 hours. For answer number three is the same as number two, located in the event parts. That is this and yeah, this. After 5 hours on the trains. Well, the last question is, did he reside in Yogyakarta? The answer is yes, he did. Well, for the last question, we can see the answer in the reorientation part. Here. This. So, yes. I was really excited to start my new adventure to this new city. And it clearly stated that he was very excited. So that's explanation about recount text and narrative text. So that's all for me. Thank you all. Bye.